You sneeze near a cat, and your eyes swell shut. Your skin turns red from a bee that never stung you. A single peanut can send you to the hospital. None of these things can actually kill you on their own. So why does your body act like they can? Here is what almost nobody tells you. Your immune system is not just fighting germs. It is making judgment calls, thousands of them, every day. And sometimes those calls are catastrophically wrong. Inside you right now are cells called mast cells. Think of them as tiny grenades scattered through your skin, lungs, and gut. Each one is packed with histamine, a chemical built to trigger inflammation fast. Normally, they wait for real danger, a splinter, a parasite, a wound that needs swelling to heal, but sometimes a mast cell mistakes a harmless protein for a threat. Pollen, cat dander, a strand of peanut protein. It cannot tell the difference between an invader and a nuisance. So it detonates anyway, flooding the area with chemicals meant for a war that was never declared. This reaction has a name. Scientists call it anaphylaxis, a word coined by French physiologist Charles Richet in 1902. He was trying to make dogs immune to sea anemone toxin. Instead, a second small exposure killed them almost instantly. He had discovered that the immune system, given a second chance, can turn its full force against something harmless. He won a Nobel Prize for it. The dogs did not get a say. Decades later, Japanese immunologists Kimishige Ishizaka and his wife Teruko Ishizaka went looking for the molecule behind this overreaction. In 1966, they identified it, immunoglobulin E, or IgE. It is an antibody, the same category of molecule meant to protect you. But in allergic people, IgE arms mast cells like a trigger waiting to be pulled. One breath of pollen, and thousands of tiny grenades go off at once, across your entire body. Why would evolution build a system so reckless? Because for most of human history, the real threats were not peanuts or pollen. They were parasites, worms, ticks, things that needed a fast, aggressive immune response to survive. IgE evolved specifically to fight those invaders. Somewhere along the way, in a world with fewer parasites and more processed food, that same ancient weapon started firing at ghosts. There is a theory for why this keeps getting worse. British epidemiologist David Strachan proposed something called the hygiene hypothesis in 1989. He noticed that children raised with more siblings developed far fewer allergies later in life, and guessed it was because those households meant more early exposure to germs. His conclusion was simple and a little unsettling. An immune system that grows up with too little to actually fight starts fighting everything around it instead. Your body, in other words, gets bored, and a bored immune system is dangerous to live inside. This is not a rare glitch either. Allergic conditions have climbed sharply across industrialized countries over recent decades, and researchers still cannot fully explain the pace of that rise. Genetics alone cannot account for it. Something about modern life seems to be teaching young immune systems to see threats where none exist. Cleaner water, fewer childhood infections, different gut bacteria from birth. Each of these shifts the immune system's early education just slightly, and slightly is sometimes all it takes. There is a strange twist buried inside all of this. The very mechanism that can kill you during a severe allergic reaction is, in smaller doses, exactly what once saved your ancestors from parasites that no longer exist in most of the world. You are carrying a weapon built for enemies you will never meet, and it still fires anyway, because your body has no way of knowing the war is over. Think about the last time you overreacted to something small. A tone in someone's voice, a minor delay, a comment that shouldn't have mattered. Your mind, like your mast cells, sometimes cannot tell the difference between an actual threat and ordinary background noise. That itchy eye, that swollen lip, that sudden gasp when pollen hits your face in spring. It is not weakness, and it is not malfunction. It is a defense system so committed to protecting you that it has forgotten what it was built to fight. You sneeze near a cat, and your eyes swell shut. And now you know why. Your body is not broken. It is simply still preparing every day for a war that ended